Well, hi again, everybody. Doug Miles along with Don Henderson as we come to you on this mid-April Saturday here in Sarasota, Florida. Lots going on in the world of sports, and we didn't get a chance to do it last week because of Easter. I know you had a nice Easter down with family, Don, in Naples.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. Kids were all in. I had a chance to get together with them, and now I'm back in Sarasota. They're back in Naples.
And the Rays are just taking baseball by storm. They had won 13 in a row before they lost on Friday night, last night as we record this, but getting off to, I believe, the third longest opening season winning streak of all time.
Three teams have made 13, and last night they lost 6-3. They were down 6-1, tried to come back, got to 6-3, but lost the game, and so that breaks the string. But you're right. If they'd gotten to 14, they would have been in a class by themselves. But now they're tied with two other teams.
I think Detroit back in '84. Remember they had that great opening. I think they won like the first 20 or something.
Yeah, I can't.
It was a lot, or maybe they won 21-1, something like that, and they rolled to the championship that year. But the Rays, unbelievably, once again, kind of defying the odds of payroll as they have been doing now under the cash years. For several years right now, but just kind of rolling along.
They're just saying administratively that the Rays are far and above everybody else. They keep making moves, picking players up at the end of the spring trainings, picking up players at the end of the waiver time, and putting it all together and win 13 in a row. And we'll see what happens from here on out. But they gotten off to a great start. Cash has done a great job, and.
Yeah.
Their pitching's been even a little better than they thought. The bullpen's been very good, so we'll see whether they can, keep going. Obviously not at that pace, but keep going to stay right at the top of the American League.
Thing is, though, people never talk about the Rays until they do something like this, or the other story is that they don't draw.
Yeah, exactly. But I did see in the paper yesterday that they're saying they're coming to the end of John Heyman, and the New York Post had a story. They're coming to the end of the line with Atlanta. Or not Atlanta, but Oakland. At the A's,
right.
They
got to make a decision.
They have to make a decision. They're not going to let them continue to do what they're doing. They're going to lose over 100 games, obviously, a lot, maybe a lot over 100.
Accusations going on.
Yeah,
too.
and so they're going to have to make a decision there. But John Heyman said that they're very hesitant about letting teams move. So I would say that's a good sign for Tampa. 2 years ago, everybody thought the commissioner was going to step in and say, you have to make a decision here in Tampa as to what you're going to do.
Right.
But it looks right now that he's making it very difficult to move a team. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know why they keep pushing this stadium thing in Oakland. They keep putting out down by their bay there, a nice stadium, and Las Vegas can put them in right away if they want. They could play in the indoor stadium where the Raiders play now until if they want to build another stadium. They keep talking about Tropicana Hotel is to build a stadium there. That was just recently sold, and I believe they're closing that hotel down. Vegas would be an ideal place. They never drew in Oakland anyway, even when they were winning championships.
Well, when you talk about Vegas, they're becoming the sports capital of America.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden building a new complex out
that
there.
Sphere thing.
Golden. Right. And, of course, they've already got tremendous respect out of the soccer team. They got to the finals the first year. They're going to be in the playoffs this year again. They're an expansion team, never been done before. And so... all in all,
you're talking about the Knights, Golden Knights.
Yeah,
right.
Everything in the world is going to Vegas, and so I can't imagine that they're not going to try to get the A's to go. They've made all kinds of concessions to get them there, waiving the fee they have to pay the league and all the rest, but they're not. They still haven't moved.
Yeah, I think they could reconfigure the football stadium to play baseball for a few years, and if they decide to build a new stadium out there, obviously it has to be an indoor stadium.
Yes.
Although they have had a minor league team out there that's played outdoors, but for Major League Baseball, you couldn't play any open air out there.
I think Larry Bowa managed out there one year, either before he went to San Diego or after.
It used to be the Mets farm team.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it still is.
Yeah.
But, but anyway, that's what's going on as far as that goes. And the New York team's kind of iffy right now, right, with baseball.
Yeah, the Yankees lost again last night, 4-3, and so they're struggling a little bit with injuries. A lot of not only regular players but also pitchers have been.
Pitching's been a problem.
Been taken right out of the picture, and the Mets are they're sort of hopeful now that they get Holiday back and they'll be ready to do something.
Yeah, Verlander with the
Verlander,
shoulder injury, missed his first start.
Verlander.
But and your Phillies, how are they doing?
They're struggling too.
Struggling, right?
They're
Right.
struggling too. They're not hitting the balls effectively as they thought they would, and their pitching has been really second rate. So we'll see what happens there. But right now, the Phillies are struggling. But there are so many bad teams, as was written when the Rays went on this streak of winning 13 in a row. They talked about not only the Rays winning the games, but also the fact that how poor the talent is up and
Overall
down.
league is not
Overall
good.
league,
Right.
yeah, and that's what they're, that's what we're finding to be the case in the early going of 23.
And the pitch clock has lowered the times, but as our friend Phil Mushnick in his column often writes, even a shorter game can still be dull. A lot of strikeouts. Not the quality of play is better, just a little shorter.
It's been a lot shorter, a minimum of 30, and I see now they're complaining a little bit about there's these 5 cities so far that are allowing them to sell liquor products after the 7th inning. You always
The
had to
beer
stop
vendors
in the
aren't
7th.
happy, right?
Yeah, you always had to stop in the 7th inning, but they were selling so much less beer and so forth. They're now going through 5 cities have already started going through the 8th inning.
Right.
So they're going to have
Got to have that beer sold, or else you don't make any money.
Going to have some kind of a ruling on that. They're not happy that the games are going shorter.
No, because I didn't realize this till a few years ago. Those vendors, they actually have to pay for that product that they sell, and if they don't sell it, they lose money. It's not like they're working for the stadium with the team.
Exactly.
So they're losing money if they're not selling the beer.
And Budweiser showed them a way how to lose money.
$6 billion so far. Yeah, nice job, Budweiser. And that woman who has the marketing of that still has a job. That's amazing to me. But
$6 billion.
Yeah. You and I lost $6 billion for our company. How long do you think we'd be working there?
6 minutes.
if that. Well, anyway, let's move up to some hockey now. We mentioned the Golden Knights again. A relatively still an expansion team. I still think of them as an expansion team. They made the playoffs, and the Seattle Kraken made the playoffs in their second year. But we'll talk about the Lightning first. A team that's been to the finals 3 years in a row, won 2 cups in a row, lost last year to Colorado, but they take on a very tough team. You and I think the last time we were at the game, we saw them play against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. Toronto's always gone downhill when they got to the playoffs.
They always seem to fade right when it counts.
And
right.
if you talk about, looking at the past record, you say, well, oh my God. But I'll tell you, Tampa Bay is struggling a little bit, and it's going to be interesting to see whether they can regroup. But it's nice to see New York get 3 teams in. The Devils got in, the Islanders got in, the Rangers got in, and they're going to be knocking each other off. But
that's the bad thing if you knock out another local team. If you're a fan of hockey in New York, that used to be the thing you didn't want to see, But early on, I mean.
Yeah, the Rangers had a great run. The Devils had a great run, and the Islanders just got in.
Islanders just got in, right?
Yeah, they just made it at the end of the line. So we'll see what happens. But again, as you say, the Lightning is really the story. And if they get through the first round, I'm not positive, but I think they play the Bruins, and if that's
usually want to play in the Bruins.
That's the case. That's an all-time record for the National Hockey League. Not only wins, but goals scored and everything that goes along with it. So,
not as good as the teams with Orr and Esposito, though. That will always be the greatest Bruins team, at least that I saw.
Yeah.
But they had a great year.
Esposito had the scoring record till this year. I think it was broken.
For the Bruins.
Yeah, for the Bruins. Right. 50, I think was it.
Yeah. And then, of course, Team Don was affiliated with the Flyers, did not make the playoffs. They got rid of their GM not too long ago, and coach. Not coach,
no.
Tortorella's still there, but the GM and the president are gone.
Right.
But Tortorella just took over last year, so he's out. The Capitals got rid of Peter Laviolette, guy that's kind of been around the league a lot as a coach, and I believe the Sharks fired their coach. So
Tortorella sort of got a slide for
gets a honeymoon year.
Came in last year, and they expected he might be able to turn it around, but the talent just wasn't there. General manager didn't give him any help during the course of last year or this year.
Yeah.
So that made the change there where he was fired. But Tortorella stays for another year, but he's going to be on the hot seat next year. They're going to have to be competitive and at least get to the playoffs.
If they don't make the playoffs, I can't imagine.
They're going to have to make the playoffs.
There's a new GM, and he's going to want to bring his own guy.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see what happens with that playoff starting. Basketball, you mentioned, that starts today. The play-in games and the regular playoffs start with that. Your 76ers are in it.
76ers start at just a little bit from now, about I think 12 or 1 o'clock today. The first game against the Nets should be very, very interesting. Can they slow eBay down, the most valuable player in the league? I don't know if they can do that or not.
Knicks made the playoffs, surprisingly. 50 years since they've won it all, so we'll see if they can make a run. I doubt it, but anyway, at least they made the playoffs. They've been terrible for so long.
Yep, and you know, James.
Team I grew up watching, by the way.
James made the playoffs again. Had 4 or 5. Really, LA had. Well, I think they won the last 6 games in a row.
They squeezed themselves in. I wouldn't mind not seeing him in the playoffs, but he's going to be in, huh?
He's going to be in, no question about that. They're playing today, too, so we'll see what happens there.
And we'll just wrap it up. The Masters last week, we didn't get a chance to talk about it going in, but interesting tournament. Not really a lot of drama Sunday. I know you watched it, Don, but I guess the story, secondary story, is Phil Mickelson finishing second.
Yeah, I think he's had the best round he's had in maybe a couple of years, and really put on a show to come in. And he's had great success over the years at the Masters, and he really put on a show in the 4th round because they had a very, very difficult time with the weather conditions and the round.
Some of the trees fell. That was weird.
Oh, and a tree, that's right. And also the tree going down, and luckily it didn't,
didn't
hurt anybody.
There was a video of that, and luckily, yeah, you're right, it didn't hit anybody.
Just lucky. I mean, they're very lucky. But the most exciting part was Phil getting that last round in and playing that well to make it interesting coming down the home stretch. But John Rahm was just a little bit better than all the field.
Yeah, I tell you, he's one of the hottest golfers.
He's playing
the last couple of years right now.
Outstanding golf. Yeah. Outstanding golf.
So anyway, that wraps up for that. But we will wrap it up for this edition of Sports Talk. And Don, good breakfast again at our friends at IHOP. We'll give them a free little plug, and we'll do it again next week.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching, everybody.